after 14 years, I finally finished my book, Married to Fiji. Then, out of nowhere, I was named September Author of the Month by Tellwell. What an honour! I interviewed with Ben St. James and talked all about my writing journey, reminiscing over all the things I loved about Fiji and how life looks so different now. It took me more than a decade to write Married to Fiji. Not because the story wasn't worth telling, it absolutely was. In fact, it haunted me. It tugged at my heart every time I remembered a scene, a scent, a song, a sunset. But every time I sat down to write, something in me would close up. Life would get in the way. The pain would resurface, or I would simply shut down under the weight of it all. I knew it wasn't going to be a small feat, rather a monumental effort. And to be honest, back then, I'm not sure if I even knew if I had it in me. There were years when I couldn't touch the manuscript at all. During one painful fibromyalgia flare in my 20s, I even bought voice recognition software so I could speak the book into existence, bypassing the pain in my hands. But even then, I couldn't. My heart shied away, the wounds still too raw. Married to Fiji is the story that broke me and healed me. It's wild, hilarious, romantic, chaotic, heart-wrenching, and deeply spiritual. It's the true story of how I left behind my comfortable Canberra life to live in a Fijian village with a man I barely knew and his dozen family members, and everything that unfolded after that. From mangoes and mud baths to heartbreak and healing, that time in my life shaped the woman I've become. The truth? I spent years procrastinating with world class excuses, cleaning, helping others, grieving, healing, surviving. And when I wasn't procrastinating, I was simply afraid. Afraid I would never do the story justice, afraid the emotions were too big to fit into paragraphs, terrified that once I finished writing, I'd have to let it go. But something shifted. Maybe it was time, maybe it was becoming a mother, maybe it was a deep knowing that my daughter deserved to understand how it all came to be. This story deserved to exit, not just for the people who lived it with me, or those who would laugh and cry with me through its pages, but for the woman I've become because of it. So, being recognized by Tellwell as Author of the Month after everything felt like a gentle, divine full stop at the end of the most turbulent yet beautiful sentence of my life. It wasn't just a personal win. It's a spiritual closing, a celebration, a bow tied around the messiest, most meaningful gift I've ever been given, the gift of experience and the courage to write it down. And if you're still sitting on your own story, wondering if it's time, this is your sign. Do it. Start messy, start scared, just start. You have no idea how much freedom is waiting for you on the other side of the end. I like to say it was love at first handshake. The moment I saw him, I recognized him instantly. Dripping wet from the rain, I made my way over to the restaurant's tall, dark, and handsome waiter. His smile warmed my heart in an instant. "Hi, I'm Tomasi," he said. My brain wanted to blurt out, "Hi, I'm Cristina. I'm from Canberra and also Latino. I'm pretty hectic, but mostly the good kind. I can get emo sometimes, but generally I'm just a bunch of fun." Instead, all that came out was a wide grin and simple, "Hi." We stood there, frozen, eyes locked, neither of us wanting to let go. When we finally did, I felt an odd magnetic pull towards this man I had just met. He smiled again and disappeared into the kitchen. 6 weeks later, I was back on a plane, dragging my friend with me to Fiji. I was determined to marry Tomasi, the waiter. I just knew it. Never mind that he had no idea I was returning or that he probably didn't remember me. Never mind that I didn't know if he was married, have children, or was possibly gay. I set off across the South Pacific with nothing more than a gut feeling to find the man I believed I was destined to marry. Long story short, he wasn't married, he wasn't gay, and he did indeed have a son. We both jumped headfirst into a relationship with no parachute, and life on the island was nothing short of tropical bliss. One night, cooling off in the hotel pool, he whispered, "What would you say if I asked you to marry me?" Nervous laugh. Probably yes, I replied. We giggled, and nothing more was said. Somehow, under the moonlit sky, surrounded by the entire Samoan rugby team, it was decided we were going to marry. How romantic. Moving into a Fijian village was my blunt introduction to the reality of island life and the stark differences between Fiji and home. Nobody in Australia understands that when you marry one Fijian, you marry them all. The saying, "it takes a village," doesn't quite cover it. Fiji takes sharing is caring to an entirely new level. Nothing was mine anymore, everything was shared. In Fiji, partnership transforms into obligation, community, unconditional support, and a deeply woven sense of togetherness. It's beautiful, but also confronting. Which brings me to the wedding. I had naively assumed our wedding might somehow be exempt from Fiji time, customary traditions, and cultural chaos. It wasn't. From the empty church when I first arrived, to the stolen margarita fountains, to the complete disregard for every wedding day request, I was heartbroken by the time the honeymoon rolled around. The time I spent in the Fijian vortex, as I like to recall it, is so precious, and I will forever hold it in my heart with the endearment a great grandmother has towards its newly born great grandchild. Little did I know that I would survive being married not only to Tamasi, but to Fiji itself. It made me ponder that legendary line about how love alone is all you need, or so the wedding anthems tell us.